what really changed the game for me was realizing that I don't have to be one thing. Hi guys, welcome to today's video where I'm going to be sharing the lessons that I've learned and the things that I've learned about myself in the process of leaving a six-figure job. In fact, it was multiple six figures, and towards the end of this video, I will share my reason behind why. But today is focused on just sharing my learnings, the things that I'm sure that so many of you who are debating leaving your comfort zone, whether it's a six-figure job or a job that's very cushy where you come in and you clock out and it's easy, there's no stress or whatever. There's lots of different parallels in the whole I need a break from this job journey, and I'm just going to share what my experience was and the growth and some of the hell of it, the thick of it that I went through in order to get to where I am right now. So if you're new to this channel, my name is Dels. I'm a lawyer, I'm an international business strategist, and I'm also a career coach. And my mission with this channel is to basically inspire and help ambitious high achievers like you and I to transition from jobs that they no longer enjoy into new fulfilling and financially rewarding careers that they love. So if that sounds like something that you are going to be into, if it's all about your jam, then please hit that subscribe button, comment below as soon as anything I say hits a nerve, or even if you just want to say hi. But let's get into it today. One of the major things that I learned is the fact that a lot of my identity was tied in my profession and my title. And I think that this is the case for a lot of us who have worked really hard. Maybe they're in the corporate field or creative field or whatever, and you're doing the type of work that a lot of people traditionally aspire to, or society thinks it's great. In my case, I was a lawyer, and coming from a Nigerian background where you're either a banker, a lawyer, or a doctor, and anything else is not a success, it's almost like you kind of tick that part and your parents are happy, everyone's amazed, and everyone thinks that you are rich or something. In my case, it took me some time to get to what you call wealth, but pretty much I was in a very successful career. And I loved, and I still do, to be honest, the fact that when you go somewhere and you say that you're a lawyer, you can see people's assumptions about you change. Like for me, a lot of people look at me and maybe don't think that I am doing something professional. They think I'm probably an influencer, which I'm not an influencer. I don't have a big audience. They kind of make all these assumptions about you because you look a certain way. And you can see that they look at you differently because they gather that you're doing something in the professional realm. And, oh, actually, you must be clever. Oh, I didn't expect you to be so smart, which in itself is very problematic. So a lot of my identity was tied to that, and I didn't even realize it. And when I actually pivoted into another successful quote unquote career that is kind of hard to define, even what I do now is really hard to define. When I left law, I went to a coding bootcamp, learned how to code. I created a project that was pitched at Google Campus. I was speaking to investors and stuff. People in that space knew what I was doing, but everybody else was just like, what's happening? Like my friends and my family, and even my old colleagues were just, what is she doing? Looks cool, but what is she actually doing? And I remember the moment when I tried to update my LinkedIn. Initially, I took away the term lawyer, and it's almost like I was having heart palpitations. And the reality of it is, why should this job title that's frivolous, why should that be something that defines you so much? Why are we so scared of letting go of that? And that's something that I really had to dive deep into myself and realize that you're doing a job that you kind of fell out of love with. It's like when you have a bad relationship and you break up. Do you keep holding on to this person? Do you carry them as you're like, yes, this person's still with me, even though we're not together anymore? And I guess in my case, it's a little bit more complicated now because I've kind of dipped my toes back into lawyering as a consultant. But that's just one of the things that I do, right? It's not my identity. I am me. I am Adele. I'm who I am here. I am this human being having a spiritual experience, as one of my favorite phrases is. We don't know what lies on the other side. So why am I so tied to this person that everyone else defines me as? And I know that a lot of us who are going through periods of transition in our lives struggle with letting go. And actually, what really changed the game for me was realizing that I don't have to be one thing. My personality is completely multifaceted. And I think that my professional experience should reflect that as well. So as you heard from my intro to this video, I am a lawyer. I still am. Very registered, all of that kind of stuff. I still work with clients. I'm an international business strategist, and I'm also a career coach. That is all of what I do as a professional. I could add some more things into that. I'm a tech founder, I'm an entrepreneur, all of that kind of stuff is relevant, but I'm not going to go into a whole spiel about that because that's not Adele. That is what Adele does. And that's something that I kind of had to process and be willing to let go because I am more than my professional job title. The next lesson that I learned is that I have to trust my gut and listen to my intuition a lot more instead of living in fear, because I struggled a lot with trying to make a transition out of law. Like I said, that was a big part of my identity. I didn't even know that I have the options that I do now in terms of being a consultant lawyer. I just felt like you've worked so hard for something. Why would you just let it go? You have a job, you've worked for some of the best companies that people would love to work for. Why are you ungrateful? I've been doing some research online and I see that many people struggle through this. Some of my clients do as well when we are getting to know each other. That conflict between the fact that you have something that people consider a good job and you wanting to do something else, whether that's still corporate or whether that's in a creative field or whether that's starting your own business. And I struggled with this, no joke, guys, for at least 4 years. At least. I think when I qualified as a lawyer, I was like, this is cool right now, but I don't think I want to be a partner. That kept ringing louder and louder in my head. And now I look back at all of the blessings that I've had and I continue to enjoy right now in my new profession. And I think I could have been much further along if I had listened to my gut and been brave enough to embrace that change. And like I said, I know this is not easy. And this is why I ended up as a career coach, because it's a journey that I've been through. And I found a lot of comfort in speaking to people that have been through that journey. And it was very hard for me to find coaches or anyone who really had gone through a similar kind of path, whether you've invested so much in your education, you've worked at the best companies. In fact, some people might think that your job is not that bad, or yeah, maybe your boss is annoying, but it's not the end of the world. You have a fantastic job. Why would you want to leave that? It's kind of hard to explain that to people when you don't even know how to explain that to yourself. And clarity is your first step in kind of analyzing all of these thoughts and stuff that go through your head in order for you to decide what's the next best move and step into that comfortably and knowing that you have a plan. For me, now I can look back and say, okay, I will trust my intuition a lot more. I've been in situations where I'm having calls with prospective clients and now I can say, something doesn't feel right with this person. No, I don't need to be their consultant. And now every single time that that's happened, I would say in the past 18 months, I can look back at it and think I was so right. Or maybe my intuition was telling me, don't go that way. See what happens. Something better is coming up for you. And in one of my last videos, I talked about the fact that January was one of the toughest experiences I've had business-wise because I wasn't listening to my intuition. I was fighting hard to launch this project. I was drowning in other things and I just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And it failed. My business project failed. However, once I let go and I was like, I'm not going to force this thing, I'm going to let it go and move on to something else. In the space of finding clarity and trying to determine what that something else was, it came to me. $1 billion company approached me, and this company is now one of my most profitable clients. I enjoy working with them. It doesn't even feel like work. And when you stay in a job where every day feels like an internal battle, you miss the opportunity for clarity because your mind is clouded in fear and analysis paralysis. Being able to step away from that has been such a relief. And if this resonates with anyone, please leave a comment below. I'd love to hear about your experiences with that. But look, guys, I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I feel like you come on YouTube or you go on Instagram and there's lots of people, including me, being like, I left my job, I quit my job. I'm not going to lie to you, it wasn't easy. And in some situations, I was forced to take action when I didn't want to or I was too scared. God was like, I'm leading you to this journey and you better get to moving, or if you don't, I'm going to push you off that cliff. And you don't want that to be you. You don't want to be in a situation where you have resisted and you've resisted and then maybe the decision for you to transition gets taken out of your hands. But because you didn't have a plan, I mean, look at the pandemic right now. A lot of people are losing their jobs, even the best people in various companies. If your gut has been telling you it's time for a change, but you've not been listening to it and you're like, oh, it's hard to leave the comfort zone, then unfortunately, you don't want to be in a situation where that decision gets taken away from you and your company starts doing redundancies and stuff. Now you have all of this free time, but because you didn't listen to your intuition, you didn't analyze the things that were speaking to you internally. Now you're like, oh my God, what am I going to do? What am I even going to start? Anyway, so those are the two main lessons that I learned from leaving my six-figure job. There are definitely more lessons. So if you want to know what those are, please comment below and I will do another video on this topic. I just wanted to talk about the two biggest ones, and I also don't want this video to be too long. Thank you guys for watching. It's been a pleasure. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Check me out on Instagram, and I'm also going to be hosting a live private training for people who want to transition and get unstuck and transition into new careers or businesses that they love anywhere in the world. I am still working on that right now, but depending on when you watch this video, it may have launched or not. So click the link in the description box below to check it out, and I will see you in my next video. Toodles!